What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Joel and the Wombles video. And we're just going to discuss the Aston Villa Tottenham Hotspur game last night. And it was must win for Spurs, in my opinion. Must win for Mourinho as well. And good news, because they actually managed to pull a reasonable performance out of somewhere for Spurs. We're also going to discuss Villa and their problems they're having at the moment and see if we can delve into those. If you're a Villa fan, stick around for that. But we're just going to discuss the major incidents and what happened during the game. So it started off, it was a slow start from Spurs. It looked a little bit like they had a little bit of a hangover from the Europa League. Obviously, that exit doesn't help us. We were poor, very, very disorganised in that game. And we sort of took it into the first 30 minutes of this match with Aston Villa. Villa were on top of us the first 20-30 minutes. They got on the ball really well and they were working it through midfield. Their problem was you had one striker and one main threat for me, and I think that made it easy for Spurs' defenders to cope with it. Not that they did it overly well, but they managed to contain Ollie Watkins, and that was a massive factor in this game. They really shut him out quite well in this game. Davinson Sanchez and Joe Rodon started as a centre-back pairing, and this has been a problem for Spurs all year, is we do not know, and I don't think Mourinho knows either, who our best centre-back pairing is. And if you keep changing your back four, it only leads to problems, massive problems, if you keep changing the back four around. So we started with Rodon and Sanchez. Now, Watkins sort of peeled off onto Sanchez, and it seems to be a general trend when we play opposition teams that they will, as a striker, you isolate the weaker centre-back, the one that you think, if you rely on pace, you'll isolate the slower one, or if you rely on strength and you think you can outmuscle them, you'll rely on the weaker one. And in that case, Watkins seemed to peel off to Davinson Sanchez, and that's the one I would angle. If I was playing Tottenham at the moment, I would go for Davinson Sanchez and that right-hand side in general. And I think actually the good tactical bit of play was bringing in Japhet Tanganga. Now, I feel like Tanganga at right back, I know it's not a natural position for him. He's actually a centre-back by trade. But at right back, he's strong, he's good in the air, and he can help out at centre-back if needed. If he needed to come inside and cover Sanchez, a lot better than Doherty and Aurier could do because they're not used to playing centre-back. I felt like Tanganga came in and actually made a statement for himself, played very well at right back and came in really well. And the game started in effect like there was a lot of ball in midfield for Aston Villa and they were using it reasonably well. They didn't really fashion too much. And that's when the goal came. After about 30 minutes, a long hoof. Spurs were really struggling in that first 30 minutes to get the ball from defence through the midfield. It was like there was no connect. And the goal came from one long ball from Sergio Reguilon. And he's angled it just into a blind channel and hoping. Vinicius does really well because he chases the ball. And it's something we've not done a lot of if you're a Spurs fan. We've not seen that effort, that determination, that willingness to chase lost causes that can eventually lead to a goal. So you have Vinicius chasing the ball up the line. Emi Martinez, who has been, for me, probably my goalkeeper of the year this year. I think he's been fantastic for Villa. Comes out and makes a slight error, which is uncommon for him this year. He kicks the ball out, and it's that man again, the man Lucas Moura. Now, Moura for Spurs, for the last 5 games, I would say, has been our shining light. It goes right back to the start of the good run. Even in the Arsenal game, he was the one that's causing problems. And the reason they cause problems for such defences is his direct running. Again, running at fullbacks, putting pressure on the ball. He looks lively. He looks like he wants it. He cares. And that makes a huge difference. So he nicks the ball off Matty Cash. It's not a great kick out from Emi Martinez, and it goes towards Cash. Lucas Moura nicks in, plays a great 1-2 with Harry Kane, gets on the end of it, and squares a beautiful back, and it falls to Carlos Vinicius, and Vinny puts it in the back of the net, and it's all that Vinicius is hoped for. Because he's not had a lot of opportunities in the team, and that is a great way for a goal scorer to get his mojo going. He's a little tap-in, easy, light work. There's not much the Villa defenders can do. They actually do quite a lot right. The diving in to try and stop Lucas Moura from cutting the ball to Vinicius, he just picks an absolutely wonderful square pass. That's all that's wrong with the Villa defending there. There's no real blame that can be done on it. Really, the blame needs to be allocated towards Martinez, as he was the one that lost the ball in the first place when the ball came back to him. Great awareness from Moura, set up Vinicius for the first goal. Then we win it at half-time. Spurs on the front foot again. When we play on the front foot, we look more attacking, we look more settled, we look a better team. And we came out in the second half, and it was the same. It looked like there's been a difference. And Spurs, when we desperately need that second goal to kill teams off. But when we get it, that's when we've got to be more switched on. We've got to look for a third. Kill the game entirely. Don't let the other team back in, which is what we've done all season. You look back at the Wolves game, the Newcastle game. We've done it all year. And getting on to Villa, you can see that they do have problems. And it's widely publicised about Jack Grealish being injured. And you can see it doesn't help their team at all that he's out. He is such a creative player, Jack Grealish. I think the statistic last night with Grealish, he's created the most chances for Villa. The second most is, I believe, Watkins or Barkley with 32. Grealish is on 75 chances created for Villa, and it really shows that lack of attacking intent. One of the things that made Ollie Watkins reasonably easy to defend for Sanchez and Rodon and even Tanganga was the fact that normally you'd have Grealish on the edge of the peripheries of the box, dragging defenders away because people are so focused on him. It gives Watkins space to manoeuvre in. And without him, he looked a little lost up front. Even when they brought Barkley on to try and add that spark after half-time, didn't really work. Now we're going to talk about the second goal. Now, the second goal comes again. There was a bit of, after the game, Dean Smith felt that there was a foul on target. Now, you can say that, or I can see where they're coming from. And it ends up with the ball again. Tonga and Dembele switches the ball out to Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura plays it down the line to Harry Kane. Matty Cash dives in to try and block the cross. Now, there's a lot of argument of whether it was a penalty or not. Now, on my side, of course, I'm going to be a little bit biased. I am a Spurs fan, and it was a penalty. It was a penalty for the same reason that he's dived in and given a referee a decision to make. And it's a penalty in the laws of the game because he's not got the ball. But you can also say the ball's running out and Kane's chop doesn't come off and Matty Cash catches him. And that's just the crux of the matter. It's a harsh one, but it is a penalty. And of course, Harold steps up, absolutely nestles it into the bottom left-hand corner. Martinez sent the wrong way. And 2-0, and we were comfortable at 2-0. We didn't play overly well, as I explained at the start. And it was a very Mourinho performance. And it's a lot better. And it showed a bit of want, especially after the last week we've had with the Derby and Dynamo Zagreb. Just awful performances. This Villa performance, a little bit better. We looked a little bit more solid. We still have to sort out what our best back four is because we have proper problems back there. We can't keep clean sheets, and it looks like none of them know who they're meant to be playing with, where they're meant to be. There's a lack of communication somewhere along that line. When it comes to Villa, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Jack Grealish is a massive miss for you. He's a phenomenal season, probably up there with Player of the Year for me. And I know people are going to criticise that and say, oh, well, Villa aren't up the league. He's carried, really, that team. And you can see that from the statistics that show without him in the team. And you see that with games won with him and games lost without him. Or games won without him. And it's a lot lower. So the guy has got some magical talent. But this, as Dean Smith said after the game, it's an opportunity for other players to step up. And they didn't last night against Spurs. And they couldn't have caught Spurs at a nicer time. We'd just come off the back of a Europa League defeat that was shocking. Arsenal beat us the week before. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. If you are new to the channel and do like what I'm talking about and like the content I'm putting out, please go down below, click that like and subscribe button.